a really fun video. I'm trying to do things that are fun, not just for me, but for you guys. And this might be a bit annoying because it's a discontinued vintage pen, but they're still out there. You can still find them. You can still find similar things. And it's just part of my personal collection, so I just wanted to share it with you. So it is the Waterman number 7 Red Ripple, and it has a red keyhole nib. So it's a flexible nib, and it's not the most flexible nib that Waterman made, but it's quite flexible, and I think it's just really interesting. It's interesting how it writes and the design of the nib and all that. So I just want to show you what it does, and it's just a fun experience. And let's go do that. I don't really need to chit chat. Don't really need to talk about the price and all that because it really varies on the condition of the pen, where you're getting it, what your requirements are, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just for my personal collection. So let's go take a look and have some fun with it. Hello. Now here we go. Let's take a look at the details of the Waterman 7 Red Ripple. It doesn't really matter about the details, I guess, because it's not made anymore anyway. But in case you just want to see it, let me open this up so we have some white background. In case you want to see it, we can just look at it. It's got this, like, the red band up here, which has maintained its color pretty well. I think it's still recognizable as a red. The tiny little clip, which doesn't have too much brassing. The center band has some brassing, and the lever has a little bit, but not too bad. Other than that, the pen is, the butt end has a 7 on it for the size. And other than that, it is a Red Ripple Ebonite. Let me just knuckle it. Still smells Ebonite. And uncapped, we have a very, it's really interesting that, I don't know, a lot of vintage pens are really small. This one, I think, is a little bit larger. Like, I would say it's on the larger end of the vintage pens. Most of my Watermans are really tiny. The nib is very interesting. It is the keyhole red nib, and not only that, it has a matching red ebonite feed, red rippled ebonite feed. So very cool. I'm trying to show you, hopefully, let me just turn on this light, maybe that'll help. Hopefully you can see, yeah, there we go. Very cool. And you can see the shape of the nib, like the tip goes down a little bit so that when you do apply pressure, it's just really interesting. So we'll do some angled writing and you'll see what it looks like. And yeah, so other than that, it's a 14 karat nib. The imprint is still quite clear on it. So it's pretty decent, pretty good shape. And it's a lever filler. There's a sack inside. So let's ink it. And then let's write with it. Oh my god. Okay, so for my vintage pens, I like to use inks that are easy to clean. So I've got my classic Waterman, classic Waterman Serenity Blue, or whatever they want to call it now. So this is typically what I put in this pen, just because it's easy to clean. So to operate the lever filler, you just pull the little lever down, it depresses the sack with a bar in there, and then it sucks up your ink. I'm not going to do it like completely full. Typically, I think they say like 4 or 5 times of doing that. I just noticed that the little ideal on the world is very cute. But yeah, I'm not going to fill it completely because, well, I'm just going to not. Clean off the nib delicately, and the interesting thing is it has feedback, but it's such a pleasant writer. And again, none of this really matters because they're discontinued, and it's not like you can just get one if you go to the store. But it's a very pleasant writer. I really enjoy the nib. So right now, I'm not applying any pressure. Super, super light hand. Red Ripple plus the in. Keyhole red. I love the feedback. It's so tactile. It's like fountain pen, you know. And as you know, the ink is Waterman Serenity Blue. I actually like to call it Florida Blue, but you know. Okay, so let's just take a look at how wet this nib is. No pressure, not super wet. And that's interesting because it's interesting to think about the design of the pen and why it would write like this. But if we do lines, like absolutely no pressure here, okay? It's fascinating because it's flawless. This thing is so interesting with the shape of the nib, and it's such an enjoyable experience. So now it's a flex nib, okay? And what that means is that as we apply pressure, the tines will spread, we'll get wider lines. This looks like a fine medium, I would say, like a Western fine. And with pressure, this is not a wet noodle nib like the pinks are, or I think the blacks, which are super rare, but it's definitely flexible. So I would say like super flex. So let's see. I'm gonna slowly apply, like I'm already such a tiny amount of pressure and it's already getting wetter. Seriously, this is minor pressure. And to be honest, it feels like it could go further, but I don't want to push it too much because Waterman nibs are like porous and they can be stressed. You can crack your nib, you can spring your tines, but I'll just do it once. I'm just pushing it. I would never go beyond this, but it's pretty incredible. The variation is beautiful. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It's not a review, it's just showing you what Waterman used to do in the past and how enjoyable it is. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you know, the usual, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions for videos or something you would like to see, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, take care, and see you next time. Bye! I'm no longer doing these as my thumbnails, but I feel like I still need to do this.